This Canada winter storm is rapidly increasing in size, and what started as a regional threat is now twice as large as forecasters originally predicted. Let me show you exactly what I mean. When meteorologists first tracked this Arctic outbreak on Monday, it was supposed to hit Manitoba and Saskatchewan. That was it, 2 provinces. But right now, as I record this on Friday, February 28, 2026, this system has exploded. Alberta is under warnings. Manitoba has a blizzard. Saskatchewan is getting pounded. Ontario just issued special weather statements this morning. Quebec is next in line. Atlantic Canada is bracing for impact Sunday. And here is the kicker. The geographic footprint of this cold outbreak is now spanning from British Columbia to Newfoundland, coast to coast. Over 5,000 kilometers of Canadian territory. This is not a regional storm anymore. This is a national crisis that doubled in scope in just 72 hours. Drop a comment right now and tell me where you are watching from and what you are seeing outside, because I need to know how many provinces are dealing with this at the exact same moment. Let me break down exactly how this system grew so fast, because this is genuinely unprecedented. On Monday, February 24th, the initial forecasts showed a cold front moving through the prairies. Standard stuff. Manitoba and Saskatchewan would see some snow, some cold, wind chills in the -30s. Nothing Canada has not handled before. But then, something changed. The stratospheric sudden warming event that happened in early February started having downstream effects that models did not fully capture. The polar vortex did not just split, it fractured into multiple pieces. One core is sitting over Siberia doing nothing, but the other core displaced directly over North America, and it is massive. And here is what nobody saw coming. That vortex core is not moving. It is locked in place by a Greenland blocking pattern that has intensified over the past week. So what was supposed to be a 2-day event for 2 provinces turned into a week-long outbreak for 8 provinces. Manitoba went under blizzard warnings Wednesday. Then Alberta got hit Thursday with wind gusts of 130 kilometers per hour. Then northwestern Ontario issued warnings this morning. Now eastern Ontario and Quebec are in the crosshairs for Sunday. And Atlantic Canada, which just got destroyed by Winter Storm Hernando earlier this week, is about to get hit again. The storm doubled. The timeline doubled. The geographic area doubled. Everything about this system is twice as large as the original forecast. Right now, at this moment, here is what is active across Canada. Manitoba blizzard warning, covering Lake Winnipegosis, Lake Winnipeg, and Lake Manitoba, near zero visibility. This has been ongoing since yesterday morning. It is not letting up. Blowing snow advisories across all of southern Manitoba, including Winnipeg, Brandon, Steinbach, Portage la Prairie. Wind gusts 60 to 80 kilometers per hour, and extreme cold warnings in northern Manitoba with wind chills hitting -45 degrees Celsius. Alberta is still dealing with aftermath from yesterday's insane winds. Lethbridge recorded 130 km/h gusts. That is Category 1 hurricane force. Medicine Hat, 90 km/h. Calgary got 7 centimeters, but the foothills saw 30. The Icefields Parkway, north of Lake Louise, received over 30 centimeters with 50 km/h gusts. Northwestern Ontario Special Weather Statement issued 3:35 a.m. this morning for Thunder Bay. Cold front sweeping through right now with winds gusting 70 to 80 km/h. Snow squalls possible. Temperature dropping to -24 tonight with wind chill -31. But here is where the doubling really shows. When this system was first forecast on Monday, nobody was talking about Ontario. Nobody mentioned Quebec. Atlantic Canada was supposed to be clear after Hernando. Now look at the forecast. Ottawa drops to -16 Saturday night, then -21 Sunday night. Montreal crashes from 8 degrees Saturday to -10 Saturday night, then -19 Sunday night. Halifax collapses from 2 degrees Sunday to -15 overnight. This expansion happened in real time over the past 4 days. Models kept expanding the cold pool. Warnings kept getting issued for new areas. The system kept growing. If you are finding this information valuable, hit that like button right now and share this video because people across the country need to understand how big this has become. Your shares help us reach communities that are about to get hit. Let me show you the current conditions right now across every province so you understand the full scale. Toronto Pearson Airport -5 degrees Celsius. Southeast wind 4 kilometers per hour. Cloudy. Looks calm. But the forecast shows -9 Saturday night, -5 Sunday, -13 Monday night. Ottawa MacDonald Cartier Airport, -8 degrees. Light snow falling. South wind, 8 kilometers per hour. But Sunday night, -21, is coming. Montreal Trudeau, -8 degrees. Mostly cloudy. Southeast wind 8 kilometers per hour. Saturday climbs to 8 degrees, then the bottom falls out. Thunder Bay -10 degrees. Cloudy. North wind 2 kilometers per hour. Tonight drops to -24 with wind chill -31. Halifax Stanfield -2 degrees. Mostly cloudy. Southwest wind 13 kilometers per hour. Sunday crashes to -15. Winnipeg is experiencing blizzard conditions right now. Visibility near zero. Schools closed earlier this week. Trans-Canada Highway shut down multiple times. Wind chills -45 in northern areas. Regina dealing with blowing snow and bitter cold. Saskatoon under wind warnings. Calgary cleaning up from yesterday's destructive winds, with reports of property damage from 130 km/h gusts. Edmonton saw thunder and lightning yesterday during snow squalls. Thunder and lightning in February. The atmosphere is incredibly unstable. Vancouver remains the only major city not impacted, sitting at 5 degrees with rain. But the interior passes are getting hammered with 20 to 30 centimeters. Subscribe to this channel right now, because this system continues to grow and evolve, and you need real-time updates as more provinces come under threat. Now let me explain exactly why this system doubled in size. The science matters here. The stratospheric sudden warming event in early February caused temperatures 30 kilometers up in the atmosphere to jump 40 to 50 degrees Celsius above normal. This disrupted the polar vortex, which normally keeps cold air contained near the North Pole. The vortex split into two lobes. One went to Siberia, the other came to North America. But here is what makes this different. That North American lobe did not just pass through, it got stuck. A massive blocking high developed over Greenland in early January. That high-pressure system acts like a brick wall in the atmosphere. It blocks weather systems from moving east, so the polar vortex lobe that came south cannot move east out into the Atlantic. It is trapped over Canada, and as long as that Greenland block stays in place, the cold air has nowhere to go. On top of that, we have a weak La Niña in the Pacific. La Niña creates a blocking high in the North Pacific and a trough over western North America. That trough is like a highway for Arctic air to flow south. So we have got Arctic air being pulled south by the La Niña trough, and then it cannot escape east because of the Greenland block. It just pools over Canada, getting colder and spreading wider, day after day. Province after province. The system keeps growing because the atmospheric pattern is locked. Severe Weather Europe meteorologists published analysis this week showing the Greenland blocking pattern has actually intensified over the past 7 days. It is stronger now than it was last week. The Weather Network confirmed the polar vortex disruption will have impacts lasting into April, not March, April. That means this system that doubled in size this week could maintain its expanded footprint for another month. We are looking at coast-to-coast cold and storm potential through all of March and into early April. Let me show you what happened this week, because the timeline of expansion is shocking. Monday, February 24th, initial forecasts show prairie cold snap coming. Tuesday, February 25th, models expand the cold pool eastward into Ontario. Wednesday, February 26th, Manitoba blizzard warning issued. Thursday, February 27th, Alberta gets destroyed by hurricane-force winds. Northwestern Ontario warnings issued. Friday, February 28th, that is today, Eastern Ontario and Quebec added to the forecast. Saturday, March, 1st Atlantic Canada braces for Arctic plunge. In 6 days, this went from a regional prairie event to a national crisis, affecting 8 provinces and 30 million people. And the impacts are piling up fast. Manitoba schools closed this week. Winnipeg shelter system overwhelmed. The Princess Street shelter, designed for 400 people, is serving 1,500 meals daily. Siloam Mission, desperate for warm clothing donations. The homeless population, facing life and death conditions with -45 wind chills. Ontario activated warming centers this week in Toronto and Hamilton. The shelter system hit capacity. Ottawa opened emergency spaces. Montreal dealing with power grid stress after the Hampstead substation failure 2 weeks ago that left 20,000 without power and killed one woman. Halifax still recovering from Winter Storm Hernando that brought 41 centimeters and 160 km/h wind gusts to Cape Breton. 4,400 homes lost power. Schools closed for multiple days. And now, another Arctic blast Sunday. St. John's, Newfoundland is buried. 178.2 centimeters fell in February alone, shattering the all-time monthly record. The city received 376.4 centimeters total this winter, already exceeding the annual average. Paradise got 150 centimeters in 1 week. The federal government granted emergency permission to dump snow into the Atlantic Ocean because the city ran out of storage. Recycling collection canceled for a week. And more systems are possible in early March. Hit that subscribe button again because I am tracking every development as this system continues to expand, and you need to stay ahead of what is coming next. The transportation chaos is multiplying as the system grows. Over 6,000 flights disrupted since January, first affecting 560,000 passengers. February 23rd alone saw 491 disruptions at Toronto Pearson. Yesterday, February 27th, 59 cancellations and 513 delays. Today, Friday, more cancellations expected as the system spreads. VIA, rail in crisis mode with train fleet availability below 50%. December 10th incident, stranded 127 passengers overnight. Week of February 9th saw 35 trips canceled. Frozen doors. Seized axles. Trains running locomotive forward to avoid snow ingress. The rail system cannot handle this. Roads closing across multiple provinces simultaneously. Manitoba Trans-Canada Highway shut multiple times this week. Saskatchewan Highway Hotline got 2.5 million visits in 36 hours during the mid-February storm. Alberta QE2 closed between Edmonton and Red Deer during earlier blizzard, with 100 vehicles stranded. Ontario Highway 11 closed across 500 kilometers northeast of Thunder Bay. Emergency warming shelters opened. Communities isolated. Quebec highways facing closures this weekend. Atlantic Canada bracing for treacherous conditions Sunday. Power infrastructure failing under the load. Pimachikamak Cree Nation still recovering from December 28th, power line failure that forced 4,400 to evacuate and damaged 1,300 homes. Repair costs minimum $44 million. Montreal substation failure. January 24th, left 20,000 without power. Nova Scotia Power, 4,450. Outages from Hernando. Sask Power outages from downed poles during February storms. Hydro-Quebec urging conservation as demand spikes. Newfoundland Hydro, warning of potential rotating outages. The electrical grid is stretched across the entire country now. Water infrastructure breaking. Calgary Bear Spa, South Feeder Main, catastrophic failure. December 30th serving 1.5 million people. Mandatory conservation. Alberta emergency alert. Sarnia, Ontario reporting 22 water main breaks since January 1st. One weekend alone had 5 breaks. Cold is fracturing aging infrastructure from coast to coast. Economic toll escalating as system expands. Montreal spending nearly $200 million on snow removal. Toronto, over $100 million. Edmonton, $68.5 million. St. John's emergency ocean dumping operations. Billions in transportation losses. Infrastructure repairs climbing. Winter Storm Fern caused over $4 billion in damages. This expanding system could match or exceed that. Now let me show you the next 30 days, because this is where the doubled timeline really shows. The Weather Network spring forecast published Wednesday says spring will test your patience. Cold pattern persists well beyond typical timelines. March and April forecast colder than normal across most of Canada. Pattern break not expected until late April at earliest. Late April, folks. That is 8 weeks away. Ontario facing sluggish start to spring with warm weather lacking commitment through March and well into April. Late March to early April, highest potential for below normal temperatures. Quebec winter finishing strong with colder than normal temps through March into April. Meteo Media expecting potential 20 to 25 centimeter storm events in March. Prairies colder than normal. March to April, with above normal precipitation impacting spring planting. Atlantic Canada, continued nor'easter track activity early March. The flood risk is building as the system expands. British Columbia snowpack 108% of normal. Alberta Bow River Basin 111 to 163%. Manitoba moderate risk for Red, Pembina, Assiniboine, Souris, and Qu'Appelle rivers. Ontario conservation authorities issuing flood watches warning higher than normal snow water content combined with widespread ice coverage means significant flooding possible. One warm rainstorm and multiple provinces flood simultaneously. Here is what the United States is seeing, because this is continental scale. Winter Storm Fern, January 23rd to 27th, killed 171 people across North America. 61 to 91 centimeters across northeastern U.S. Wind gusts 158 kilometers per hour Massachusetts. 600,000 power outages. Cleveland tied records from 1893 with 8 consecutive days below -8 Celsius. American Airlines called it most disruptive storm in 100-year history with 9,000 cancellations. $4 billion damages. Winter Storm Hernando just hit northeastern U.S. earlier this week before tracking into Canada. Same pattern, same atmospheric setup. The system is not respecting borders. Right now today, Friday, February 28th, here is what you need to know, province by province. British Columbia interior passes 20 to 30 centimeters with 80 km/h gusts. Vancouver mild but snowpack at 108% means spring flood risk. Alberta, recovering from yesterday's 130 km/h winds. More cold coming. Saskatchewan blowing snow and bitter cold. Wind chills -40. Manitoba blizzard warning active right now. Near zero visibility. Wind chills -45 north. Ontario Thunder Bay dropping to -24 tonight. Toronto -13 Monday night. Ottawa -21 Sunday night. Quebec Montreal -19 Sunday night. System weather system tracking Sunday. New Brunswick Arctic blast Sunday. Nova Scotia -15 Sunday night after Hernando impacts. Prince Edward Island cold plunge Sunday. Newfoundland buried under record snow with more systems possible early March. The next 72 hours are critical. Tonight, Friday night, continued blizzard Manitoba. Saturday, brief warm spell eastern Canada. Saturday night, Arctic front arrives eastern provinces. Sunday morning temperatures crash. Sunday night, potentially coldest, late February readings in decades for Ottawa and Montreal. Monday, bitter cold, locked in. Tuesday system begins. Slow retreat, but cold remains. Wednesday, new system possible tracking across prairies. The pattern continues. The homeless crisis intensifies as the system expands. Winnipeg shelters over capacity, serving 1,500 meals daily at 400-bed facility. Toronto shelter system, at capacity. Hamilton warming centers extended hours. Montreal facilities stressed. Halifax preparing for Sunday plunge. Ottawa emergency spaces opened. The vulnerable population facing life-threatening conditions across 8 provinces simultaneously instead of just 2. This is what doubling looks like. 2 provinces became 8. 2 days became a week. Regional became national. Manitoba and Saskatchewan became coast to coast. The cold pool expanded. The timeline extended. The warnings multiplied. The impacts spread. And forecasters are saying this continues through March into April, with no pattern break until late April at earliest. The science is clear. Stratospheric sudden warming disrupted polar vortex. Vortex lobe displaced over North America. Greenland blocking pattern trapping cold air. La Niña trough pulling Arctic air south. Negative Arctic oscillation, weakening polar containment. Multiple atmospheric drivers aligned, creating locked pattern. And that pattern is not breaking. It is expanding. Let me give you specific examples of how fast this doubled, because the numbers are staggering. On Monday, the forecast showed Manitoba and Saskatchewan facing a cold snap, maybe 100,000 square kilometers affected. By Friday, the system covers Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario, Quebec, and Atlantic Canada. That is over 3 million square kilometers. The geographic footprint increased 30-fold in 4 days. The population under warnings went from 3 million people in the prairies to over 20 million people from Alberta to Newfoundland. That is not incremental growth. That is exponential expansion. The temperature anomalies tell the same story. Monday forecasts showed temperatures 5 to 10 degrees below normal for the prairies. Now we are looking at 15 to 25 degrees below normal across 6 provinces. Ottawa, Sunday night at -21 is about 20 degrees below the late February normal. Montreal at -19 is 18 degrees below normal. These are not typical cold snaps. These are extreme departures that forecasters did not predict on Monday. The system intensified as it expanded, and here is what makes this truly dangerous. The expansion is happening faster than response systems can keep up. Manitoba activated emergency protocols Wednesday, Alberta Thursday, Ontario Friday. Each province getting 24 to 48 hours notice instead of the typical week. Emergency management teams scrambling. Shelter systems overwhelmed in real time. Road crews deployed as warnings are issued. Power companies bringing in extra staff on the fly. The doubling caught everyone off guard. Environment Canada meteorologists confirm the pattern. The Weather Network forecasts extended cold through March and April. Severe Weather Europe analysis published Thursday shows the Greenland blocking pattern has intensified over the past 7 days, making it stronger now than last week. NOAA data shows La Niña persisting into March before neutral transition. The European Center models show the blocking pattern remaining in place through mid-March, at minimum. The Canadian model ensemble shows cold anomalies across the country through the entire first week of March. All models agree. This system doubled, and it is staying doubled through March. The infrastructure cannot handle simultaneous failures across this many provinces. When Manitoba faces a crisis, normally other provinces can send help. When Ontario gets hit, Quebec sends resources. But when 8 provinces face extreme conditions at the exact same time, there is nobody left to help. Power crews are maxed out. Snowplow operators working overtime in their own regions. Shelters at capacity everywhere. Emergency services stretched thin. The doubling of geographic scope means the doubling of resource strain with no backup available. Look at the flight cancellations. When storms hit 1 or 2 airports, airlines reroute through others. But when Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, Winnipeg, Calgary, Edmonton, Halifax all face weather simultaneously, there is nowhere to reroute. Planes sit grounded, passengers stranded. The entire national air network paralyzed. Same with rail. Via Rail cannot redirect trains when the entire corridor from Windsor to Quebec City faces the same conditions. The doubling means total system failure instead of regional disruption. The economic multiplication effect is massive. 1 province dealing with a storm costs tens of millions. 8 provinces simultaneously facing extreme weather costs billions. Insurance claims multiplying. Business interruptions across the entire country. Supply chains breaking down nationally instead of regionally. Goods stuck in Manitoba cannot get to Ontario. Products from Quebec cannot reach Atlantic Canada. The doubling of geographic scope means the economic damage does not just double, it multiplies exponentially. And the forecast keeps extending. On Monday, this was supposed to end Thursday. Now it extends through the weekend into next week. The spring outlook published Wednesday pushed the timeline even further to late April. What started as a 3-day event became a week-long event and is now projected as a 2-month pattern. The doubling is not just in space, it is doubling in time. 3 days became 6. 6 became 2 weeks. 2 weeks now looks like 8 weeks. The expansion continues in every dimension. Stay safe, prepare for extended cold, check on neighbors, especially elderly and vulnerable. Stock emergency supplies for at least a week. Avoid unnecessary travel during active warnings. Monitor Environment Canada alerts for your region hourly as warnings expand. Charge devices and have backup power. Keep vehicles fueled above half tank. Know where warming centers are located. Have emergency contacts ready. Understand this is not a brief cold snap. This is a month-plus pattern that continues expanding. The storm doubled in size. The timeline doubled in length. The population affected multiplied tenfold, and Canada faces the consequences coast to coast. From Vancouver Island interior passes getting 30 centimeters to St. John's record 178 centimeter February. From Yukon -55 December reading to Halifax Sunday -15 plunge. From Manitoba blizzards with near zero visibility to Ontario -24 Thunder Bay tonight. From Quebec -19 Montreal Sunday to Alberta 130-kilometer winds yesterday. From Saskatchewan blowing snow to Atlantic Canada bracing for Sunday Arctic blast. From shelter systems overwhelmed in Winnipeg to power grids stressed in Montreal. From flight cancellations at 8 major airports to via rail failures across the corridor. From water mains breaking in Calgary to snow removal budgets blown in Toronto. This is the winter of 2026. Massive, expanding, relentless, and far from over. The system that was supposed to hit 2 provinces now threatens 30 million Canadians from coast to coast. That is what doubling looks like.